And now we're going to talk about a game called Fresco, where you are actually a painter, a moody painter.
One of Sam's favorite themes. But actually, this game does do one thing I've never seen any other game do. It punishes you for waking up early. So I don't know if the designer is trying to tell you something there.
I concur with whatever the designer's trying to say.
But that's an interesting mechanic. You're basically painting a large mural in this game, and the game actually comes with several expansions inside, and I can already tell you before we talk about the game that I'm going to recommend that you just pretend that those are part of the game itself.
Yes.
But
why would you put an expansion in with the base game? Is it still an expansion?
Things that make you go,
Indeed.
In Fresco, you're actually painting a giant fresco here in the middle of the board. This is all covered up by different tiles. And what players are going to do is, this is a unique game in that you have double shields. I love this aspect. You have a single shield and a big shield, a small shield and a big shield. The big shield is to keep all your money and everything behind. Your small shield is to keep this little board behind. And on this board, you are going to send your workers. These workers are going to go in different spots on the board, and they are going to allow you to do a couple things. First of all, they're going to let you go out here and spend tiles. And you can go out here and say, ooh, I'm going to buy some tiles over here, and I'm going to get an orange paint and 2 red paints. And the paints are here in this big bag of cubes, because we know that if it's a Euro game, it has to have cubes. Then you can use those cubes to paint different sections of the fresco in the middle. So you can see here, for example, that this tile here costs 1 yellow, 1 red, and 1 green. So if you have all 3 of those colors, you can paint it, and lo and behold, you'll get 5 points. Woohoo! And also, you can see a hand now. If this bishop in the middle is anywhere near, and you can pay coins to move him around, then you'll get extra points. And there's a point track on the outside of the board for keeping track of such things. Then finally, you can mix paints, and there's a little card that tells you mixing colors. So this is one of the only ways to get green. You know, you can mix blue and yellow to get green, or blue and red to get purple. And these colors will be used in paints as you go on. But what makes this game, I think, really interesting is up here in the top corner. At the beginning of each day, players are going to choose one of these times that they're going to get up in. So let's say it's my turn and I say I'm going to wake up at 8 o'clock. Whoever wakes up the earliest gets to go first. They get first choice of everything. But they're going to pay a more expensive price, while I'm going to pay a cheaper price. Of course, that may be just what's left over. But also, if you notice, there's a morale line here. At 8 o'clock, there's no morale. At 9 o'clock, there's +1. People are pretty happy when you let them sleep in. At 5 o'clock, though, there's a -3 morale. Now, down here is a board that keeps track of your morale. And here, if I keep losing morale, if my morale goes down here into the negative, I'm actually going to lose one of those guys that goes and works for me. While if I get it all the way up here into the positives, a little neutral guy is going to come work for me, because everyone likes the fact that I let people sleep in late. Now, you can adjust morale with this little player board. You can always send people to the theater, and that increases your morale. And you got to be careful, because if you lose workers, that can be a big deal. But it's really a tough decision each day as you decide, am I going to send out early to get the first choice of paints, which lets me paint the best things in the fresco, and take that morale and pay that high price? You know, what are you going to do? And, you know, are you going to send people out to get more money? How are you going to do this? So everything works together fairly well, and eventually you build the fresco. Now, the game comes with some expansions. It comes with more expensive tiles that require different color paints. There's brown paint included in the game. It comes with different paintings that you can put down here at the bottom of the board and commission and sell those paintings for money. And there's a few other small variants that you can include. And I think that they're all simple enough that you can just throw everything into the base game and play it right away. Also, I should mention that the inside of the box, look how cool that is. There's a little door there. Isn't that neat? I mean, that's why I buy games, for their inserts.
So, are you going to throw this insert away, Tom?
No.
Wow.
No. Well, it holds everything well. It holds everything fine.
One of the things that I like about this game is that you can get by
well, no, I'm sorry. You can't get by with ignoring any one thing. The only thing that I think that we really ignored throughout the entire game, but we actually used it on the last round, was this little thing over here with building. I think it's painting the outside of the building or something to that effect. I don't know the what they call it in the rule book, but that's the only thing that we really did not use during the whole game. Everything else we used except for the expansion stuff, because we just played the basic game. But again, like Tom said, they're all easy enough that you should just go ahead and dive right in with your first run. Everything is used, and that's what I liked about it. There wasn't any real dead space on the board, which is another thing I like. You have to use everything, otherwise you just won't do well. And I really like that. It's the wrong thing, Tom.
Yeah. It's my paintbrush.
That's what he stabs you with if you don't get up early in the morning.
Okay. Okay, maybe I'm enjoying that fact of the getting up early. I just thought that was a really thematic thing. Overall, this is a Euro game where you
very much so
buy things to sell things to get points, to do other things to get points. But the reason I don't bash this, like I bash several other games of that same genre, is because it makes sense here. Here, you buy the goods at the market, you then use those paints to paint the fresco. If you don't have the right paints, you can mix them. The morale of your employees directly affects whether they want to work for you or not, and getting up early or not depends on the price that you have to pay. Everything works together in conjunction, and I like any game that mixes colors together. That's another reason I like Pastiche so much, is for the same reason. So the theme is a big draw for me here. I'm not an artist myself, but I like the idea of mixing colors. It comes back from those figure painting days. But it's a good, solid Euro game from 2010, and one that I enjoy.
Yeah, Tom needs to work a little bit more on mixing colors. His Warhammer 40k army definitely showed us that. So, anyway.
No one's ever accused me of being an artist.
But, no, this is not your typical Euro game in where you, I guess maybe this is somewhat of a bias. You're not just token pushing around. You're actually using things that you've bought, things that you've created with mixing the colors, and you are using those things to buy, to paint the mural and all that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit different. It still has the feel of definitely you're kind of playing against the game, but I liked it. I think I'll give it 1.5 just because I'd rather play something else. But if this is going to hit the table, I'll be okay with it.
Yeah, I'm giving 1.25. See,
1.25?
No,
Come on.
I'll give it.
Wow.
Hey, it's good. It's a good game.
Yes.